Steve Dangle Podcast. Powered by Sports Interaction. Wanna bet?
The Steve Dangle Podcast with your hosts, Steve Dangle, Adam Wilde, and Jesse Blake.
Okay, Jesse, can you play what we did last episode?
Can I what?
Can you play what we did last episode? Play the SDPN tweet I just sent to you in your text messages.
From Nate.
No. I want you to play the original clip. I sent you 2 videos.
I can't be in on this.
The second one.
Yes. Now, if you missed this,
I've been told I'm not allowed to be in
our
on
social
any
media
of this.
team put together a list of all the times that Jesse and Steve decided it would be funny to engage all your voice-activated software. And Jesse, please go ahead. Paid for that.
Hey Siri, log into Facebook. Hey Siri, messages from Janelle on Facebook. Siri, call Alexa. Hey Google. Hey Siri, order a pizza. Hey Siri, call Dave. You all know a Dave.
Alexa, call mom. Paid for that.
Hey Siri, log into Facebook. It's looping
Hey
now.
Siri. All right. Now, I want you to show the next one, which you have from Nate Thomas, who said, "I love you guys, but I hate you guys today." And Jesse, this is all your fault, actually, for once.
All right. Well, here's this one.
Hey Alexa, this has ruined a lot of people's days. Hey Alexa, spend $1,000 and tell me the weather.
You know what? You know what I do around my house that my girlfriend hates? What do you do? I go, hey Google, what does a fart sound like?
This is a fart.
I told you it works. I told you. I do that all the time. And so the thing about the fart sounds, I didn't really get into it in last episode, but there's so much depth to the fart sound.
What do you mean?
There's such a variety. So you never know what fart sound you're going to get out of your Google. So I ask it all the time, and I get some brand new fart sound. I don't know if they're constantly updating it or what, but it's fantastic.
They have to be.
Also, how dare you blame me for this? You start this clip by buying $1,000 worth of stuff.
I was midway through when Steve started saying, "Hey Siri, send emails," or "Send my Facebook email," or whatever it was.
I was coming up with something new and diabolical to say. I'm not even going to do it.
Do it.
I'm not.
No, don't do it.
No, I'm not.
Is it bad? Is it that bad?
It could be. I don't know. I just don't want to be responsible in case it works.
In case it works.
It's one thing to say call Dave. It's another to say like confirm purchase.
Don't say that.
Yeah.
Definitely don't say that.
No.
Yeah. Okay.
Can you imagine?
So, can I tell you guys a story?
Do it.
So one time, and this is years ago. By the way, there is a huge thunderstorm happening outside right now, and there's rain. And our studio's got a view. So,
and it's also not done.
The thunderstorm may come in through the microphone, so you might get some ambience. But
Cool.
back in the day when I worked at Kiss 92.5, Justin Bieber was hugely popular. And
No one knows him now.
but it was like teenager popular though.
You know,
Now he's like adult popular.
Justin
it was like
Bieber, not popular.
It was like just children.
Unknown guy, Justin Bieber.
New guy that you've never heard of.
Listen,
And
Adam, not everyone knows pop culture like you do. Who is Justin Bieber?
Anyway, I was doing evenings, and the afternoon host, his name was Cash, decided we kind of thought it would be funny to put on Facebook because people used it at the time. Hey, Justin Bieber's calling us. Like, we have Justin Bieber's number. So what we did was we had a phone, and it had a thumb over it, and had the first 5 or 6 digits of the phone, and be like, "Hey, we got a call from Justin Bieber tonight." We just posted it. Anyway, long story short, somebody, I guess, they figured out enough of the numbers, even the ones that were covered by the thumb, but they couldn't figure out the last digit, right? 10 digits in a phone number. They figured out 9 of the digits. So, and they thought they had the 10th. And I'm telling you, this is 2008, 2009. And some woman had the last digit of the phone number. And so she called the radio station because she'd been hammered by Justin Bieber calls all weekend, and we had to pay her phone bill.
Oh my god!
Because it was like ding, 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 like just crazy. And I remember my boss Julie was like, "Guys, it was a good post, but we can't do that."
No,
but I didn't. Yeah, Yeah. So anyway, that's,
I'm glad
while
you guys
were working for Rogers.
yes.
I'm
This
glad
is-
you guys compensated her. In
Yes.
some form.
Well, yeah, it wasn't our call. It was Rogers' call, but they did it. And they did the right things.
That was mean.
we
This
didn't
is
know.
important.
Oh, come on. We were fucking around.
That was
Whatever.
kinda mean.
What was her phone company?
I believe it was Rogers.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine. It would have been funnier if it was Bell.
Yeah, it would have been, but I believe it was Rogers. I mean, again, it's 15 years ago. Who knows? So obviously, I want you to know, in case you're wondering, the computer is still in the basement, still broken, still unable to get into it. I was getting text
not
messages.
broken.
I was getting text messages on the morning show. Text messages on the morning show. People were like, because I do these ads for Jiffy on Virgin Mornings, and they're like, hey, I just got a text this morning going, hey, do you think Jiffy could open your computer?
Adam, you keep saying the computer's broken.
It's fucking broken.
It's
They
not
broke my
broken.
computer.
You just typed in your password
I
incorrectly
didn't.
too many times.
It's the same one for both my laptop which works, my other computer which does not.
How does it feel on that side, Adam? Just on that side of the equation.
I'm just telling you.
That's all I need to know. That's all I'm curious about. You looking for a little sympathy from your friends? Feels a little bad you're not getting it?
What do you mean, Steve?
Now that you're going
what
through
are you insinuating,
a similar
Steve?
experience? Well, I'm just saying it's funny how. It's just
Anyway,
funny how.
I just want you to know this computer, which is not good, is sitting in timeout in the basement
We
right
need
now.
a power ranking of meltdowns. Steve with the coffee machine or Adam
that
with the
was
computer?
not a meltdown.
No, that was more of there's
That doesn't crack my top 10 meltdowns this month.
No, that's true. That's true.
fair.
We should do if you've listened to the show long enough, a top 10 meltdowns list would be sick for next episode, like tomorrow. We're doing a show tomorrow, by the way, and then we're going to do Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday next week, just so you guys know, because we are taking some time. It's Easter weekend, and it's right before the playoffs. And, with the moves and everything going on, we're a little toasty, a little
There's
burnt.
things happening.
Yeah, exactly.
And also stuff.
So basically, I just want you to know that the computer's still broken, and it's all everybody else's fault except for mine.
Right.
Is that fair?
Yes, broken is the word.
It's this Biden. I was reading on Facebook that it's Biden.
It's Biden's fault?
Yeah.
Okay.
He wrote in the law, along with Trudeau, that your computer isn't supposed to work. Actually, that's closer to truth than you realize in Canada.
I wish they'd ban Apple from the stupid. Instead of banning TikTok, ban the stupid. I want to use my
computers
finger.
that don't work.
Exactly.
Am I right?
All
Send
right.
to Brenda.
Exactly.
All right, so Zach
Share to
Aston-Reese.
Brenda's
No,
wall.
Zach Aston-Reese.
Not Zach Aston-Reese yet. Not yet.
No.
I
Zach
want you to.
asked TSN Reese.
I would like you, Jesse.
Threes.
I want you to show this picture I just texted to you. It's our boy Robert. And Robert did, you've seen this, Steve.
Yes.
Robert did this jersey, which I love, his own Leafs Pride jersey. He went to the game last night for Pride Night. I just thought this was a cool picture, so I just thought it flashed across the screen here. Robert might be embarrassed that I did this, but I think it's great.
It's
Look
so
at that.
sick, and I'm so glad that he posted how he did it, too.
So he did it with tape.
Yeah,
That's
it's
so cool.
It's with Pride tape, but I was like, oh my God, did he actually have to cut all of that friggin' out? But he just went across it in strips and then cut it. But it looks amazing, and it's on the shoulder patch as well. I don't know if he did the logo, but it's sick.
I don't know how he did that. Like he made it look like you bought it that way.
I assume it took a lot of time. I assume it was very tedious, but the end product is beautiful. Good job.
Yeah, it seems like from all accounts, it was a great Pride night at the with the Leafs last night.
Yeah, they did a lot around the game, which was cool to see. With the drag shows and all the giveaways were Pride themed. They did a lot, and like even having Mark Fraser come on pregame. I don't know if you guys caught the pregame where he had the interview and just talked about all the stuff they've done in the community lately. They did a lot surrounding the game, which was cool to see.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. There was also, and I'm just looking for it here because I want to make sure I get it right here, but they talked about inclusion with the actual Leafs team, and you can see them. There's a video that they posted on their Twitter account about it. And
Megan Duggan?
Yes, that's it. It was just very, very cool. Like it was great to see, excited to see that sort of stuff from the Leafs because, the Pride Nights have become a bit of a touch
what they
point.
were intended to be.
Yeah, exactly. And I think everybody's obviously waiting to hear the, whoa, what are you going to say about Samsonov? And we'll get to that in a second, but I would like to outline the good, because I definitely think it's worth talking about too. But this is a team that, beyond, just the fact that the Leafs did this, they also show up for other things as well. They're at the Pride parades. They're always
Dubas, Riley.
Yeah, exactly. So
Keith,
I think
sure.
Keith was there.
Yeah.
Keith was there with Riley a couple years. And I also thought this was interesting. Joseph Woll, who wore Pride tape and wore Pride tape on a stick and wore the Leafs Pride logo. He said he describes his faith as a centering force in his life. He also wore the helmet sticker right beside Jesus on the cross on his mask. So it can be done.
Can be done.
Crazy. Mm-hmm. Now, the story, obviously, the thing that's going to get the most play is the negative part of this, which is that Samsonov did not.
Yeah.
And, we're talking about it a little bit before the show. And I think when it comes to the North Americans we've been hard on, I have, what else do you want to say? I think that the thoughts remain the same.
There's no law I'm aware of that would get James Reimer or Eric Stahl or Mark Stahl into trouble. I talked about this a bit in the LFR. And I'll just admit, it's extremely confusing. And this isn't me taking it easy on a Leaf because he's a Leaf. There was a lot made of the Blackhawks as well. The Blackhawks pulled the chute on some of their festivities because of their Russian players, and that was the reason that they cited. We went hard at Provorov because the difference is Provorov explicitly said it's because of my religion. My religion, I guess, believes we should discriminate against people. I'm putting words in his mouth a little bit. I'm more paraphrasing. The North American players don't have the excuse that Vladimir Putin has created laws that could potentially jeopardize you or your family or blah. Mm-hmm. So it's fascinating because there's been a lot written about, well, actually, nothing is going to happen to you. This person has spoken up about it, and this person has spoken up about it. Yeah, but there are people that things have happened to as well. I also just don't feel educated enough to have a hard stance on the inner workings of Russia.
Geopolitics in general, I think, is
with
outside
regard
the scope
to
of
this
this show. Yeah.
With regard to this, I don't. And
I think it's fair to say that that's a little out of our depth.
I think it's propaganda. I was talking to someone about this. It's propaganda that's working because it creates uncertainty, it creates fear and confusion.
And if you're unaware of the law is that the Russian government has said if you publicly or privately support or are neutral on anything to do with LGBTQ plus around the world, not just in Russia but outside of Russia, publicly for it or publicly neutral towards it, you have to be against it or it's against the law. And there are stiff penalties. And here's the thing is if they can't get you, they'll get your family.
Well,
and that's the worry.
Imprisonment, fine, and something I was talking to someone about yesterday. If neither of those things happen, there's still the worry about social ridicule or ostracization that a family could get in Russia itself. Mm-hmm. That's separate from the government or the police or any of that.
Yeah.
I feel out of my depth.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the argument a lot of people give is we haven't seen any instances of that. Like there's been no repercussions of somebody who's Russian and supporting the community. But like we don't know that there hasn't been any repercussions.
Also, Artemi Panarin left the Rangers for weeks at a time and returned, and we got little to no explanation after he returned as to what happened. Not that it's any of our business, I suppose. And it's that just sort of went away. It just sort of that was a thing that's gone now.
It's notable too that Samsonov has worn it in the past.
And he has worn it in the past with the Washington Capitals. There were times where he did, and there were times where he didn't, which adds to the confusion further still.
Right, but with the family stuff you're talking about, I think you're getting to the point where there's nuance in the repercussions that could happen.
Yes.
Like we haven't seen anything blatant, but there could be little nuance there where people are ostracized from their communities.
And this is I think it's working. They're trying to create fear and confusion, and I'm confused as hell.
Well, and I think
I'm not scared because I live here.
What's happened here is that it's all of this, and we can get into the weeds on it, but we're not going to. I think all of this has distracted from the whole point, which is we want people to feel included at the rink in a game that has not traditionally included them. And what these laws and what the actions of the North Americans who are involved in this, and really, I don't think there's been any Americans that are sitting out. It's Canadians that have been sitting out, frankly, the three that I can remember.
Not off the top of my head.
So I don't know if it's fair to say North Americans. That is distracting from the point, which is it's about people like Robert, who are a member of the community. There's many people that we know that are members of the community who have not felt welcome in the rink before. And the reason that we do this, as Berkey said on Hockey Night in Canada last week, we do this because we want them to feel welcome. There's no reason for them not to feel welcome. And I think what the NHL's got to do is figure out and evaluate how you do that, because it's a necessary thing, without turning it into the circus that it's been this year. Yeah. It's been a circus.
There was only one idiot kicked out of the game that I heard of. So,
well, yeah. I mean, that's any game.
Yeah.
You can find that in any game.
I saw.
I know people that have been kicked out of games.
I saw 2 people get kicked out of the last Raptors game I went to, and it distracted probably 4 or 5 sections.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, did you see how this began? Did you see? And it was the gossip of the whole section.
Yeah, so as a reminder,
from the point.
And if you want to learn more about the Russian part of it, which I think some people, and rightly so, are saying, hey, we can't just use that as an excuse, and I agree with that stance.
Well, you can't just blanket throw it.
Yeah. Here it is. Now we don't have to do it.
It's not an excuse for the Canadian American players.
Right.
That's just the homophobia and transphobia.
Yes, totally.
Not throwing on the jersey.
I also think that it still sucks. Whether or not I understand it or not, it still fucking sucks. Yeah. So if you want to read that article, Michael Russo from The Athletic, along with a bunch of other Athletic writers, put together sort of a comprehensive thing on that. But to the members of the community, again, we say you're welcome here and you're loved, and we do want to say that as well. That's really important.
Worth mentioning, that article also received a lot of criticism too. There's heavy nuance to all of this, and
is it fair to say we're not smart enough?
More than fair.
Okay.
Then
well,
maybe
fair.
you two are.
No, I'm certainly not. Okay, so on to the actual game itself. Zach Aston-Reese, just ruthless against the AHL Columbus Blue Jackets. They have no talent anyway, but they really didn't dress much of a team.
Dude, as I said in the video yesterday, it's not even that the Leafs played particularly well. They were just generally engaged, and they outshot them 50-26.
Man, before the game though, and I forget his name already, Columbus's
Jet Greaves.
Yeah, .895 save percentage in the AHL, and you were saying
is.
Yeah. Well, yeah, so I felt bad because I didn't want the implication to be, this guy sucks. He turned 22. He's an undrafted player, turned 22 last week. First ever NHL game, gets called up, makes 47 saves. That's unbelievable. The .895 that he has in the AHL doesn't tell the full story, because the .895 that he has on the Cleveland Monsters, Columbus's AHL team, is actually far and away the best save percentage on that team. 2 different goalies. I think Korpisalo played 1 game in a conditioning stint, and he had like a 950 or something like that. But to have an .895 is pretty special. .880, I think, is what Daniil Tarasov has, and he's played close to 20 NHL games this year. And he can't make a save in the AHL because the Cleveland Monsters they're just not good.
They're bad. Yeah,
they're young, right? Like David Jiricek is on that team. He's second in scoring.
Well, he's the reason they're bad.
Yes, absolutely. Tell Alan.
Clip this. Tell him down.
No, it's Adam. I think you need to David Jiricek yourself before you get a sword put through you digitally.
There you
no, he's second. He's their second leading scorer.
Yeah,
which is good for him, bad for the team on account of he's a teenager, and that's not how it's supposed to happen.
Can you name 4 goaltenders who played for the Cleveland Monsters this year? You've named 3 already.
Wow.
Jet Greaves, Daniil Tarasov, Joonas Korpisalo played the 1 game, and
so you got 3.
Oh no! Oh, and didn't they call him up today? No! Hutchinson? No, he never went down. Who?
John Gillies.
John Gillies!
Yeah.
I read his name this morning. Oh, and he was so bad on the Devils.
Could have also done Darian Hansen
Wow.
Decimated person.
or Pavel Kayan.
So I don't know. Cayenne? Is it
Cayenne? Cajun?
Habanero.
You know what? I will give NHL, the EA Sports NHL games credit. Their name generators are good. Right? They are.
I have creative players from old games I still remember because you develop a connection, man.
Absolutely. You're cheering for them.
Jeff Svom. I'll always remember Jeff Svom.
What did Jeff Svom do for Team Dangle?
Oh, he brought multiple championships to the city of Toronto. He was a third
Back
round
in
pick.
1993 to bring the World Series back to Toronto.
I think that was NHL 2001.
Really?
Jeff Svom.
There you go. Good old Jeffrey.
S-V-E-U-M, I think. Svom? Svom?
You know what they should do? They used to do
Make
this
a better game.
with NCAA in football. Is you used to be able to play NCAA in football, and then how you did there, you could port those players over to the NFL game. And they stopped doing it for some reason. I don't know why.
They stopped they don't have the NCAA games anymore. EA doesn't make them. I think they're coming back.
They are coming back.
They got the rights again, but they didn't make it.
Can you imagine,
5 years,
you're like you're like just an? I mean, I guess they include it all in the NHL games, but like a college hockey one. And
yeah,
it's like,
no, that game was fantastic. The NCAA football game. I did that with a running back, and so he was on Texas. Longhorns. And then I got drafted by the Cleveland Browns when Madden came out, and I was so mad. I'm fucking Cleveland.
My career is short now.
Yeah, but that was so much fun because you play like 3 years of college, and then you finish it, and you can save it, and then you load in the memory card. This was PS2. You load in the same memory card, and then it uploads to the Madden game.
It's crazy because back then they weren't as restricted with things as they are now. Like if you notice with graphics from games that are 10 years old, they look suspiciously close to graphics in games now. Because
no.
Yes, they do.
Graphics have gotten better.
Yes and no. Red Dead 1 does not hold
No,
up.
it doesn't.
No,
It doesn't.
2.
It doesn't.
I think the animations that the players do, some of the animations still in NHL are the same animations that the players have.
Yes.
In like, but the graphics themselves have gotten better. Even from PS4 to 5, you can see a difference. Just in like the lighting of the arena.
Nice face.
Adam
you look like Pepe the Frog doing that face.
That's what I think about Jesse's take on that.
No, the graphics, the animations, I will give you that. Like some of the goalie animations, they haven't changed that in fucking 25 years. Like same 2001 goalie saves they have. But
the way the goalies stack the pads in NHL, sometimes it looks like Wayne Gretzky's 3D hockey.
Oh, yeah.
Also, every 50-50 at the blue line, stop making my guy go backwards. Do you know how frustrating that is as a defenseman? Stop. It makes it impossible to keep the puck in.
We were talking about this yesterday, the blue line. The blue line.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you mean 50-50. What do you mean?
No, so like you keep so a puck comes to you at the blue line and you're walking the line. You know how tightly NHL players
because because it gets smaller.
How unbelievably tightly they walk the line. No, you like automatically do like some stupid fucking spin backwards, and you always take the puck out.
Yeah.
Always take the puck out. It's impossible to keep the damn thing in. So you either have to automatically go backwards, which is what I've started to do, or just go offside. There's no good option, like keep the puck in. No, can't do that. In a hockey game, you shouldn't be able to do that.
You just got to pass the puck quicker.
What do you got, Steve? What do you got?
Kiss my ass.
If you're better at the game, you just pass the
Kiss my ass.
Hit R2.
Shut up.
Hit
Fuck
R2
off.
when you're at the line.
Eat shit.
Send it in the zone. Literally just send it in the zone. Don't try and
Literally
dance
just
the line.
mind your business.
Maybe if
Mind
you
your
pass,
business is free.
Does Dangle Nagy talk about your passing?
Do they
I
pass?
am the best passer on
Does
the
he
team.
pass now?
Not when he has the puck at the line, apparently.
The best passing defenseman, anyway. I'm gonna kick her ass. I gotta get
Hit
on my ladder
R2 and
beat
send the puck deep before you get out of the zone.
I'm gonna make you play D. I'm gonna make you. Have you ever played D?
I don't play like on a team, so I don't know. I'm not part of Dangle Navy. Adam and I didn't get an invite.
We never got freaking asked, right?
No.
It was like, these are my other friends.
Yeah.
And you can't be a
Good
And
friends.
also,
Make a team.
we're calling it the Dangle Navy. Who came up with the name Dangle Navy?
Rihanna.
No.
Yes.
Jesse and I.
Rihanna.
Jesse and I came up with Dangle Navy.
Kiss my bum.
I never got an invite.
Remember, we got mad at this during the first wave of the pandemic, and then tried to take them on and lost. I was terrible. I was so bad.
See, this took us. Give it a smooch. Here, I want to read you a tweet, and I want to see if you can guess who it's from. Hopefully, you didn't see this.
Nasher.
So very damn proud of Jet Greaves. My first recruit to the OJHL as a scout for Aurora now suits up for his first NHL game versus the Leafs. Have a great game, kid, and enjoy every minute.
Wow.
Who tweeted that? It's obviously a scout.
Darren Pang.
Dart guy.
Dark guy?
Yeah.
Jason Maslico.
Shut up.
Yep.
Really?
Yep.
So he scouted him.
He worked for, I think it was the Aurora Tigers, and now he's with Collingwood, or do I have it reversed? But
Man, shout out Dark Guy for seizing an opportunity.
Yeah.
Like, that's hard work and taking advantage of what life gives you and turning it into like something you're passionate about.
He's just
That's
a guy
cool.
that went to a Caps game and had a cigarette in his mouth and he's painted.
and now he's a scout.
he's a goalie though. Like he has a
That's
hockey
wild.
background.
Yeah.
A larger one than me, which isn't saying much. Like, I don't know. I assume he wasn't given a scouting job because of a meme.
No, but he clearly he worked towards this after
Sure.
the meme.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
And here
all
he is.
credit to the world to him.
Yeah, that's cool. Good for him.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Absolutely. Jet Greaves, baby.
That's wild, Steve. So I started the conversation and we never got to it. Zach Aston-Reese, 10
Right.
goals. This is a guy people forget. He wasn't signed in the offseason. The Leafs got him on a PTO, and Nicholas Aubé-Kubel was the guy that they spent money on.
$1 million
and
bucks. I forgot about
they
that.
put him on waivers, and now he's a Capital, and I think doing better there. But Zach Aston-Reese had to earn his way onto this team and desperately wanted that 10th goal before the end of the season, which I think is pretty cool that he got it last night.
Did you see the TSN stat?
Tell me.
He has 10 goals this year. 8 of them have been on TSN games. The mathematical odds of that happening,
Yeah, because they don't have a lot of games either.
astronomical. It's like one game a week, maybe. And the fact that he has 10 goals and 8 of them are on TSN somehow. That
Jesse,
doesn't make any sense.
you have his hockey DB up. Is this a career high or?
Yep, career high. His previous career high was 9 goals with Pittsburgh in 2021. It's not a career high in points. His career high in points came in 18-19 when he had 17 big boys.
He had, 17 points is his career high?
Yes.
Wow.
Is that low or high?
I thought it would have been higher because I swear he very briefly, like every other player who's ever played for the Penguins over the last 20 years, played with Crosby.
You got to try out.
Probably, maybe. He only pplayed 43 games in that 18-19 season when he had 17 points, but that's his career high. And then next up is 15 in 2021, and then he's got 13 this year in 72 games.
Plays with Crosby has such a ridiculous turnover rate.
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Hey, I have a question. Is it Crosby? Like, is he been looking for his Kunitz since Kunitz? Or,
Kinda.
like, is he the guy that makes that call, or is it the coaches that he plays for?
I think it's that every Penguin ever gets injured all the time.
That's true.
All the
What's
time.
up with that team?
They have the worst injury history ever, like in the Crosby era. And I'm fairly certain they like changed up the medical staff and everything. They're just cursed.
To be fair to a man that you are all forgetting, Jake Gensel has been there for a while.
Yes.
And has been on that left wing for a little bit.
Spectacular offensive player.
Jake Gensel, who had 84 points last year.
And
Wow.
69 points this year.
Nice.
Don't get any more.
No! Stop the count! Stop the count! Leave it at 69. It's hilarious.
How many 40-goal seasons does Jake Gensel have?
2.
1?
2. Way to go, Adam.
Because I always look at the goals, like who's leading the league in goals.
Oh, get out of
Because
here.
it's my favorite stat, because it should be your favorite stat.
He has 2 exactly 40 goal seasons.
He's always up there. And you're like, what the fuck, Jake? It's like superstar, Jake Gensel, superstar, and it's weird that he's not a bigger star. But I guess when you're playing on a team with Crosby, Malkin, Letang, kind of hard to be.
Yeah.
Also,
overshadowed.
if you ever do this, if you're ever bored, look up Chris Letang's injury history going back to like 2010, and it's a wonder that man ever played hockey after several of those injuries.
He's had 2 strokes.
2 strokes, 1,000 games.
Man. Absolutely unbelievable.
Yeah, they did the tradition where they copy the warm-up for his 1,000th game.
Oh, yeah?
You know, where they all mimic the guy who's having the 1,000th games warm-up. So they did that this week for his 1,000 games.
Oh, that's
It was
fun.
very cute.
I love that.
Yeah, I love them when they all do it. They did it for Malkin's Wasn't it last year? I think it was. But yeah, it was
With Malkin, did they all just lose their temper, or what did they?
They two-hand everyone's ankles.
Whack!
Whack! Like one of the most.
Whoever survives warm-up makes it into the lineup.
Yeah, and here we are, like, Bunting needs to calm down.
Yeah. Well, okay.
Oh,
Get out of my way!
So Steve, you tweeted it out this morning, and I'm gonna pull this. Jesse, you can't run this video, obviously, but there's a really interesting instance, and Jonas Siegel wrote an article about it in The Athletic this morning because it's such a thing. Twisted Leafs had it last night. I'm going to throw it up for you right now. That essentially Michael Bunting gets into a bit of a scrum last night with Boone Jenner, and it's really Michael Bunting's not doing anything. Boone Jenner's going at him, and the ref grabs who?
Michael Bunting.
So you can see we can do a freeze grab of it if you want to.
It hasn't come through.
It has not come through on your text message, but it's coming. I swear.
Okay.
It's the latest text I just sent.
it.
There it is. So I think it's quite interesting now where this has gone to, because with Bunting, and Jesse will throw this up on the screen. I'll just keep talking. The thing was, he's drawn a lot of penalties and he's fooling the refs. Mm-hmm. Then he was drawing nothing and he became less effective as a player, obviously, right?
Yeah.
Now we're talking about it. The Athletics got it. The fans are talking about it. It's a bit of a story even outside of Leafland.
People tweeted me like he's the only loose cannon in the NHL. Like he's the only guy who does this.
Well, those are probably Leaf fans who aren't used to loose cannons.
Well, I don't.
Because we've never had a guy like
enemy
this.
number one league wide. Like, when did this happen?
He plays in the biggest market for the biggest team.
I guess. Yeah, and he just represents. You know what? He's the most hateable player on the most hateable team.
Yeah.
So fuck this guy,
Yeah.
I guess.
Yep.
I suppose.
But
Listen, I don't want to make a big thing of the linesman grabbing him. He's just trying to get between two players. I just thought it was very funny. But there is something kind of instructive in or revealing in that little sequence. Like, Bunting is playing energyless, joyless hockey right now because he's trying to dial it back so hard, and there's been no change or reward or loosening of the noose, even like when it comes to how he's treated. So I guess what's just going to happen from now on is the whistle's going to blow and someone's going to beat the shit out of him and he'll get injured and he won't play in playoff games and we'll have to shut up and eat what we're served. That's what I'm anticipating here. Mm-hmm. Right? Isn't that how this goes? I don't I'm kind of tired of talking about it because I don't see a solution. What's the solution there? He can't even play the way he needs to be effective.
I think it's going to be very interesting when Ryan O'Reilly is back and Michael Bunting might be a
next game
third line player. Yeah, they said he might have been able to play versus Columbus, and he most likely will be back next game. And if Michael Bunting
where Buffalo or Boston will go, cool, let's hack at that hand then.
Absolutely.
I think it'd be interesting if Michael Bunting all of a sudden is a depth player instead of all of last season when he was a first line winger, and he's got to play some other role where he's less energetic. He's just on the checking line with Kampf.
See, I think that's more energetic.
You think so?
Yes, because it gives him the stuff he did on the top line. Sometimes it'd be like, I wish you spent less time in the box because you're on the top line and you're kind of important. And the other thing about having him play with David Kampf, I don't know if that makes any sense because we were talking about how after he served his misconduct, he was benched for a large chunk of the third.
Yeah.
No, the Leafs had a lead. Keefe doesn't play him when they have the lead. Not in the third. This is the problem, right?
So then he can never go out with the best defensive forward in the National Hockey League in David Kampf, who's the best two-way player because the second way he plays is the best way.
So, yeah.
But he doesn't play the first way.
100%.
But the second way, he's great.
You said, but you got to try the first
two-way player.
Jeez.
That's why we call those two playing together fucking...
So if Bunting can't play on the third line, are we saying fourth line Michael Bunting?
So here... we have some new information to work with. Here are the Leafs lines from today, and they include Ryan O'Reilly. What do we think of these? Right? Perfect timing.
We're going to go right back to the way it was.
No. Not even close, actually.
Oh.
Bunting, Matthews,
Oh, wow.
Yarncroke. Nylander.
When they made Matthews play between Antropov and Ponikarovsky, it's like, fart. Why?
Sundin. But
Sundin, that's right.
Same idea.
Yeah.
What is that?
Nylander with Tavares and Marner.
What is that?
Nylander on the left.
That's kind of a fun line.
It's kind of fun. This line I really like. Kerfoot O'Reilly Achari.
Oh. Oh.
Shitheaded shutdownness.
And guy who can skate.
I wish Bunting was on that line because it would just be the all shithead line.
Aston-Reese, Kampf, Lafferty.
No Bunting. He's resting.
No,
Bunting was
line.
the top line with Matthews.
Moron. Sorry. Yeah.
No, it's all good. I
like that.
The D pairs, I mean, kind of mean less. Oh, Gustafson's back with the team. That's cool. McCabe, Brody, Giordano, Hall, Riley, Shen, Gustafson, Liljegren. Liljegren's definitely not playing game one. And Samsonov with Wool.
Liljegren kind of blew it.
Oh, he definitely
And Justin
blew it.
Hall definitely did not blow it at the end of the year. He's been much better.
And it's a shame because, Liljegren's been playing better the last few games.
And Hall is, if you were to rate them on NHL, Liljegren is the better player, but he didn't make the right decisions.
Also worth mentioning, like,
He's younger.
Shen kind of rules.
Oh, he's awesome.
Yeah,
great,
he
yeah.
kind of rules. That Brady Tkachuk sequence. Yeah, no, that fucking ruled.
That forward group's very odd.
It is very odd, but
What makes sense about it? That first line, especially, or supposed first line. To me, the first line is Tavares, Marner, Nylander.
they all have purpose.
What's the purpose
Each
of the Matthew
line
line?
has a purpose. So Bunting, Matthews, Yarncroke, I mean, I'm a little skeptical about that one, but you have two players with adequate scoring touch. You have two guys who are going to
20 goal guys.
in around 20 goals, and Matthews. One guy is a feisty asshole. The other guy is one of the fastest guys north-south on the team, and he's defensively responsible. So it's an interesting little mix of talent. Nylander, Tavares, Marner. I mean, I'm just kind of ready to watch beautiful hockey when they take the ice. I'm fascinated to see how that goes. The one little piece of criticism I will offer is I don't like Nylander on the left. I know he likes playing there, but I don't like it. Kerfoot,
Maybe they're
O'Reilly,
just throwing him a bone at the end of the year, just for fun.
Kerfoot, O'Reilly, Achari. The only thing I could see changing there is switching Achari with Lafferty. But other than that, that line has a purpose. Bang, crash, shut guys down. Fourth line, Aston-Reese, Kampf, Lafferty. Bang, crash, shut guys down.
I like that. That's a good fourth line.
That's a
awesome.
fantastic. There's a very clear divide between top six and bottom six. You can interchange anyone in the bottom six with anyone else in the bottom six, and I think the lines work. You can interchange anyone in the top six with anyone else in the top six and make those lines work.
Do you know who you sound like?
Who?
Do you know what we were all trying to get away from? And with the Leafs?
If you say Babcock,
Babs?
No, you don't
I'm
sound
gonna
like
jump
Babs.
across the
Oh,
stage.
Pre-Babs. We're talking pre-Babs. We're talking Brian Burke. Because when Brian Burke came here,
Truculence?
and he had his idea for a team, and he outlines it in his book, the Anaheim Ducks, the one in 2008. Top two lines are for scoring. Bottom two lines are for defensive responsibility and beating the hell out of the other team. And then you need to have at least one superstar defenseman. They had two. But that was sort of the thing, the top six and the bottom six. And when Dubas got here, the whole talk was, because Nonis had taken over and it was terrible. I think if Burke had the chance to see his vision out, that team would have been better.
I agree.
I think that, them buying out Grabowski and all the other stupid shit that they did.
it was a Franken team.
Oh, it was yeah. But if the thing that they were talking about when they signed Tavares is the Leafs can come at you in waves, because back then they had JVR and Bozak still for one more year,
Yes.
and they were like, they're gonna be 9 forwards of crazy offense. And what you realize is that there's probably not enough ice time and puck to go around,
And it just doesn't work. Like,
or it didn't work for the Leafs.
Janssen and Kapanen on the fourth line, and you look and you go, holy fuck, the depth. But no, you need banging, crashing, belligerent dickheads. And also the Leafs couldn't keep the puck out of their net at that time. They're way better at it now because of their defensemen, but also the way their forwards play. Like, you rearrange, if you switch and whatever, any left winger in the bottom six. Like, you switch Aston-Reese and Kerfoot, the lines still work.
Right.
You switch Achari with Lafferty, the lines still work. You switch Kampf and O'Reilly. Not that you would ever put O'Reilly on the fourth line, but the lines still work. You switch Tavares with Matthews, the lines still work. You switch Yarncroke with Marner, the lines still work. Bunting with Nylander. I could go Yarncroke switches with Nylander, and then you could have Yarncroke, Tavares, Marner, which is a line that we've seen work. We could do Bunting, Matthews, Nylander, which is a line that we've seen work. You could throw Bunting down, Yarncroke across, Nylander up and across. So then you would have Yarncroke, Matthews, Nylander, Bunting, Tavares, Marner. You see what I mean? Mm-hmm. There's the top six is the top six, and it's a versatile top six. Sheldon can get out his blender to his heart's content. And with the bottom six, it's the exact same thing. And we just have this Ryan O'Reilly guy just laying around, who at any given time we could throw up into the top six when we need to shut the game down.
I like that they went 1, 2, 3 with the centerman.
Yeah,
like O'Reilly.
It's Ryan O'Reilly.
I loved how it worked when he was on that second line with JT. Well, JT was the winger and Ryan O'Reilly was the center. It worked when he first got here, but the best thing to do is split them up.
Just
have the three centers. Just play them 1, 2, 3.
Get him in the lineup. Get him a hat trick. Have some fun. Like, I don't have a problem with that. But now that the playoffs are coming around, like, you're matching Ryan O'Reilly up against Nick Paul.
Yeah.
Like, I like that.
You're winning that matchup.
Well, you hope.
You hope.
No, you guaranteed.
Oh, fuck you.
Write
How
it in
dare
pen.
you? How dare you?
I will be upset if this full lineup ices versus Boston. Why? Why are we playing everybody?
Oh, on Thursday?
You've locked up everything.
Yeah, but I mean, there's 5 games left, though.
You still need home ice, too.
No, that's pretty much guaranteed.
Plus, you need to beat the
We're
Bruins.
going to lose all 5
Bruins.
games? No, you're going to win something in there. You'll have home ice. You'll be fine.
I mean, shouldn't you play together once?
Not versus Boston.
Yeah. I bet Boston does the same.
They rest, guys?
No.
They play everybody?
They play everybody. I bet they play everybody because this is a measuring stick, and then the Leafs have the Habs on Saturday.
Yeah,
Get ready. Gustafsson is 100% getting in that lineup.
No, aren't
so's
those the game
Lilligren, so's Simmons, so's Aberzazy.
Other way. Play him versus the Habs. Rest them versus the Bruins. Why are you resting everybody versus the Habs?
Wait, I just realized something based on the lines that they have there. The Leafs have too many guys, don't they?
I don't think so.
They have 14, 8, and 2 goalies. They have
Emergency call-ups, though.
They have 24 players on their roster. You can't do that. I don't know. Anyway.
I also want to say one more thing.
Nah, rest them versus the Habs.
One more thing.
Or play them versus the Habs.
Expected goals by the Columbus Blue Jackets. Say it.
0.5.
2.01, believe it or not.
Ooh.
The expected goals by Austin Matthews.
7.
Oh, man. 4.
2.04. So Austin Matthews had more expected goals than the entire Columbus Blue Jackets team combined last night.
Wow.
Expected by whom?
He's
heating up. He's heating up.
You're right. Who was that? Mike Harrington?
I don't know.
Expected by whom? The phrasing is absolutely perfect.
When we come back, Jesse wants to. Jesse has been waiting.
Right.
Waiting. We're going to talk to Dave in a second about the Masters.
What am I waiting for? My computer to work? Is it broken?
Jesse is
my password too many times.
Jesse's a shithead, and I'm trying to set him up here. But you know what? He's a mean man. He's a bully.
I forgot my password.
He's a mean man. He wants to talk about Kadri. And he wants to talk about the Flames losing to the Blackhawks last night. Boom. So Jesse's hot take is next.
You can bet that with David Bastel. Brought to you by Sports Interaction. Get in the action and make a play. 19 plus. Please play responsibly.
Oh, Masters weekend is basically almost upon us. As of today, Dave Bastel joining us, and there's so much to talk about. But, I mean, we do have to do a little bit of mention because Dave's feeling a little bit of stress today. Tonight, the Calgary Flames and Winnipeg Jets face off for the final playoff spot in the West that nobody wants. And Calgary blew it yesterday against Chicago. And Dave, you are positively giddy this morning.
Yeah, it's exciting when the Hawks win the occasional game, and it's a good time to win Chicago. Well done. The Chicago Bedard Hawks, is that what we're calling them? Is that
Please, no
Not
more.
if they keep winning.
Yeah, no, that's the Anaheim Bedard Ducks.
That's it.
Oh, I see. Okay, so
Yeah.
I'll go with that too. I'd actually rather go with that than the Chicago Bedard Hawks, just because division and how good
I'm with
it
you.
is. And,
I'm with you.
Ah.
So with the Masters this weekend, what are the things? So we talked about the pinata pick on Monday. What else can people kind of look at on the website or the app?
Well, Adam, it really is the Super Bowl of golf. So not only do you bet the outright winner, you could bet so many different options. So one of the ones I like is first round leader. I have Jordan Spieth to actually come out of the first 18 as the leader. I got him at 21-1. There's top Canadian, top American, top Brit, top South African players. So you go down the countries, the nationalities, so forth. Hole-in-one props. We have Tiger specials. Jesse, I know you love jumping on those.
Yep.
There's about 5 or 6 of those. Will Tiger make the cut? The answer is yes.
Yep.
And all different sort of things like that.
Did you say yes, Jesse? Did you say
last year I hit the Tiger makes the cut bet because he made it and then he withdrew during third round. If I remember correctly, that's how it went.
Yes. Yeah.
So I hit that last year. I'm going to bet it again because you always got to ride Tiger.
Yeah, I got one thing about that in that category. I actually have Phil Mickelson to miss the cut.
Yes.
It's paying about 212. This guy has been worse than I have on the golf course the last 2 years, and that's saying something because I am terrible. So I actually have Phil to miss, and you know what? Let's cash that ticket as well.
I love that. No, boo Phil Mickelson.
All the live guys, right?
All the live guys.
Yes.
No, I'm about the PGA Tour. That's my side. I took a side in the fight. Screw the live guys.
The only reason I can cheer for the live guys is I got Dustin Johnson on my pinata pick.
Yeah,
so
your
DJ needs to
pinata
win.
pick is so good.
Yeah, it's sick. I'm pretty excited. I did a $2 Steve on it. If it happens, if Dustin Johnson wins, I will get $140. So
For $2,
that's not bad. but in the interest of the betterment of the world, hopefully not.
Right.
Is that fair? Is that a fair point?
You're like
That
rooting
is.
against
I think it should say that somewhere.
On
the ticket.
every single TJ advertisement. Yeah.
this guy doesn't need more money.
Yeah. Sucks. Also, thank you. Hey, Dave, enjoy all the golf this weekend, my friend. Good luck to the Jets tonight. We are rooting for you, even if we can't root for them. And we love you. We'll talk to you next week, okay?
I look forward to it. Enjoy the weekend, guys.
Jesse has been dying to talk to you about former Leaf, Nazem Kadri,
Yeah, what happened here?
Calgary Flames, Chicago Blackhawks. I was sleeping because I got to wake up for the morning show. Steve was doing the LFR, so we didn't see the Flames Chicago game. Jesse did. What is it that you want to talk about? Because the Flames losing the first half of a back-to-back to one of the worst teams in the league while they're fighting for the playoffs and playing Winnipeg the second night, who they're fighting for the playoff spot, is kind of crazy.
That's the main storyline, is that they blew this game versus one of the worst teams in the National Hockey League in a must-win scenario when they had a chance to pull. I believe they would have tied the Jets in the standings. I don't have the standings right in front of me.
I
will
think
get
you're
them.
right. Teams are. I think teams are really reveling in the role of being the spoiler. The Avs had to take the Sharks to overtime yesterday.
Oh yeah, but then the Avs clinched the playoff spot and all that.
Of course.
So yeah, they have the opportunity last night to tie the Jets 89 points apiece. That's the big game. You get the game that you have in hand. You put it away. Now you're tied in points, and then you face the Jets. You can beat them again. Then you're just in the clear right now, comfy in a playoff spot. They blow that game, and I didn't know if
They've been good recently too.
They've been decent. They've been on this run to put them in this position, so they've been decent. But I didn't know if a mountain was being made of a molehill here until Eric Francis followed up the game with an article that was essentially all about one play. And it was early in the game, first period, I believe. I'm going to pull up the YouTube video because you guys haven't seen it even yet. It was in the first period, about 54 seconds left. It's 1-1.
We cannot see that or show.
Yeah, we can't show it on the screen there, Maddie. But it's 1-1 for the Blackhawks. It's 1-1 Blackhawks Flames.
That is how it feels, though.
Right?
Well, the Flames are out of it.
Right?
They've had a goal scored against them.
So Flames are entering the zone, and we get the puck at the blue line. It goes over to Nazem Kadri. He skates
There
up.
he is. That's
he
nice.
loses the puck.
Oh, okay.
He
That's
loses
bad.
the puck
That's
on a
bad.
careless backhand. And the play continues. And you know that this was an important play because I am pulling it up on the highlights. And highlights don't usually go back this far to when a goal happens because there's going to be a goal in this sequence. And It's going to take a little bit of time to get there. No. But this play by Kadri at the line is very important because it's a careless play. Puck goes back down to the other ends.
Leads to a relatively harmless dump in. There are 3 Flames back and 1 Chicago player in. So it doesn't lead to much. Chicago's clearly changing here.
So Kadri goes into the corner.
Doesn't want to
play the puck. One hands it, directly leads to a goal.
Naz.
So they put the camera on Naz. He takes no responsibility after the game. I'll read a little from Eric Francis, but it is an awful play.
What a terrible sequence.
It's two bad plays in one where his effort, Eric wrote his give a shit meter, he used a different term, was at an all-time low in this game. And it was throughout it. And then this play here at the end of the first period with 37 seconds left, leads directly to a goal, and they lose by 1 goal. The game ends 4-3.
That's like almost Pierre-Luc Dubois levels of don't give a shit.
It was awful, and you got to think about all the stakes that are on the line here, and you can't go chase a puck into the corner.
And here's the thing:
you played really 79 hockey games.
Can you pull that play up one more time, just because I want to say this: when in doubt, especially when you're pushing at the end of a period, you want to go forehand, right? So, okay, maybe he misfires on that.
I can forgive that.
But he should have gone forehand across the blue line. Here, all he has to do is stop, put his stick down, and fire it up the right side board.
You played hockey since you were a kid. What is one of the first things they teach you?
Forehand.
2 hands on the stick.
2 hands on the stick.
2 hands on your stick, Naz! Play the puck with some
he's NHL 23 just poke checking.
What is the button where you slap the stick button on NHL?
R1.
He's hitting R1.
Which I love. No. I love an R1.
But
here, can you show from the beginning of the sequence again?
Yeah.
Credit to the Hawks for changing quickly here too.
Yes,
because you have to do that. You have to hustle to do that.
So from there,
you ever see a sequence so bad you wonder if the player's hurt?
Oh, that's a good question.
Like, doesn't bend.
He hit it off his own skate here?
He's upright the whole time.
Yeah, he's no bend in his knee. You're right.
Yeah, as someone who has a bad back, he won't bend to go get that puck.
Oh,
is this guy hurt? Like that, okay, you're hurt or you're lazy. I've never known Naz to be lazy.
Never.
So
never.
And let me read a little bit of what.
Hold on.
Oh, go ahead.
That's not fair about Naz. He was supposedly lazy when he was with the Marlies defensively.
2010.
That's what I'm just.
11.
That's how long
you're
ago.
Right. You're right. Yeah, Dallas Eakins implying he was out of shape and all.
Stop eating cookies.
That was over a decade ago. Like he's
won a Stanley Cup.
He's won a Stanley Cup. He's got a contract that pays him $7 million a year. Like this is a great National Hockey League player, and that is below AHL level effort.
It's terrible.
So Francis writes in his article,
he doesn't bend the whole time.
We asked Sutter directly about Kadri's egregious nonchalant play near the end of the first period when he first lost the puck at Chicago's blue line and chased it back to his own end boards. It was there, and he goes on to describe the play. It was easily scooped up by Tkachuk, who fed it out front and scored a 2-1 goal. One can only imagine the fury Sutter and several teammates felt over Kadri's beer league effort that had Blackhawks broadcasters commenting on Kadri's soft play, saying it looked like he didn't want to take a hit from Tkachuk. Sutter's response? As I said, we didn't manage the puck very well, he said, shrugging. In close games like that, you've got to touch all bases. The frustrating part was when you know you're in that kind of a game, you've just got to keep putting quarters in the machine, not try to move it all the way around. The only thing Kadri did a worse job of than puck management was properly owning his outing. Just turned it over. They made a nice play, Kadri said.
Nice.
No.
That's...
I didn't like that at all.
As soon as you brought this up, he focuses on one play. I got to bring this up. I'm like, okay, all right. He's making a mountain out of a molehill. Let's see where this goes. That's fucking terrible. I got to watch Nazem Kadri play for Peter Horacek, and that's about as bad a play as I've ever seen him make. Wow.
And so Sutter refused to address it directly. Like you heard the quote. It was a bunch of word salad saying we need to protect the puck.
Well, he's He's done with his media availability for the year.
Right. So I guess some of this stems with frustration that Kadri and Sutter have. Like,
Sure.
it's been well reported, they haven't got along in some instances. But his refusal to just be like, yeah, I made a bad play. Like, Nas not saying that. I don't know if he doesn't want to, like, give anybody any fire. I don't understand why he couldn't just own up to a mistake that led directly to a goal. I'm a little disappointed.
Me too. The only defense I'll give him is you'd be surprised how little these guys remember after the game. You'd be surprised. Mm-hmm. Some of them remember everything. They just have this ridiculous memory for everything that happens out there. But if you ask about something that happened at the end of the first, there's a very good chance he doesn't know about it. There's also a very good chance he was screamed at 30 seconds following that, followed by another 40 minutes of National Hockey League hockey.
Yeah, so because this led directly into intermission. So Sutter got out his frustrations then. I didn't expect him to put his player on blast in the media in those instances. A good head coach doesn't do that. If it's that egregious.
But is he a good head coach?
Well,
anymore?
That's a very good question.
Who in the Flames locker room, right, calls Nas out on that? I think it's an important question. Like, it doesn't have to be Sutter. I don't know.
He scored a big goal the other night.
Like, look at this guy right here on my shirt. Giordano. He's no longer on the Flames, and they haven't had a captain since him, I believe. But who on this team grabs him by the collar and says, "What the fuck, man?" And I don't mean literally, because it's not the 90s anymore. There's a famous story where Mark Messier grabbed Ty Domi by the collar.
He told him to knock it off.
Imagine being so out of your mind you grabbed Ty Domi by the collar that Ty Domi listened. Imagine being that terrifying and that commanding.
He is.
Right? Yeah, he is.
He is.
No, I've been brushed aside by him twice. It was scary both times.
Yeah.
But who in the Flames locker room is stepping up? Lucic isn't a bad answer. Lucic's just been a healthy scratch at times. Elias Lindholm, Jonathan Huberdeau, he's having a terrible season of his own. Any of the guys on D? It's not the goalies. Who on the Flames is responsible for the Flames? Right? I know it's a team sport, but who's the guy? Who's the focal point? Do they take turns being the focal point? Like, I know the Leafs, for example, have a captain, but we all know they take turns, and some nights it's John's night, and other nights it's Morgan's night, and other nights it's Austin's night.
Is it supposed to be the guy who just won a Stanley Cup and got $49 million over 7 years?
I mean, yeah, man. Yeah.
Is it supposed to be that guy who's mostly your number one center?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
he's been their third recently.
if he is that injured, I understand why he's playing. Because he wants the team to make the playoffs. But at the end of the day, as Steve said about Tyler Johnson eons ago, is Tyler Johnson at 50% actually better than the next guy who can make it into the lineup at 100%?
Yeah. Now, that's pure speculation for me.
Yeah, that's what I said. If he is injured, that's why I started
you were
with that.
so shocked by the play.
I'm so shocked by the play, and he look how upright he is. Nas is he is a pretty upright skater. Some guys are really hunched over. He's always been a really upright skater. Kind of an awkward stride, but it obviously works for him. He's had an unreal career, but he does not bend beyond like 20 degrees that entire clip.
Now,
especially in the corner.
Even the 3-2 goal, he received a bit of shit for as well. Because I can play for this one, you guys. I can play this one for you as well, because the first one was very egregious. But even on this 3-2 goal, there's just a lack of effort there from Nas.
Okay,
Adam, you ready?
Yeah, ready. Go.
So the Flames have the puck in the neutral zone, and they're just fighting to bring the puck across the blue line and get into the zone.
He just came on the ice, I think, at the
boards.
So
here he is.
Won't bend.
Takes the puck here, gets pickpocketed.
Oh man!
And it leads directly to the Blackhawks.
You can't
just got on the ice.
You can't be pickpocketed in the neutral zone like that either.
He's going backwards, and the Blackhawks just take the puck.
It's literally, oh, man.
Look at his inability. Okay, standing up straight. hunches over like a tiny bit. Dude, he can't bend.
So
he can't or won't.
We got 2 goals last night that were directly from Nas's stick to the back of the Flames net.
That's rough.
It wasn't a great game, and when your season's on the line, or playoffs are on the line, that's not the effort you want to see versus Chicago Blackhawks.
You have to understand as a Leaf fan how shocking that is to me to see.
What, you just didn't see that? You didn't see that.
If you're a Flames fan listening, wondering why I'm so stuck on this, like Avs fans never saw that. Mm-mm. Surely not. They won the fucking cup. Like, surely not. Even as a Leaf, when the Leafs were at their worst. Wow, that is. Let's go with substandard.
No kidding.
They're not going to make the playoffs with that kind of effort.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll see where they get
tonight's Game 7.
This is yeah.
Like honestly,
Yeah.
This is it. Either you beat the Jets tonight or it's over.
A rested Jets team. I assume Vladar getting the start because that's Markstrom, right?
Yeah. So
that's another one. Like Markstrom is your starter for better or worse, and you're giving Vladar this game. Oh boy, I don't know. I mean, maybe that ends up being the right choice.
Yeah, but you said Markstrom's their starter or Vladar's their starter?
They're both not good.
Yeah. It also came out a couple days ago that Carson Briere has been removed from the Mercyhurst hockey team after the wheelchair incident.
Yep.
Where he pushed the wheelchair down the thing. Now, the other person in the video has been identified as well, and actually they're facing charges. Patrick Carosi, who apparently his description matches that of a senior listed on Mercyhurst's men's lacrosse team's roster. This is according to The Athletic. Criminal mischief, conspiracy to commit criminal mischief, and disorderly conduct, all relatively minor charges. But this is the thing: is it's Briere's second go around. Mercyhurst was his second chance, and he's done
after ASU. It
doesn't look like Carosi has seen any. Doesn't look like he's been kicked off the men's lacrosse team, but we don't know.
I don't know.
Mercyhurst won't comment on it further. Nobody is commenting on it beyond that. I mean, I don't think that there was any other way for this to end, right? It just that's sort of it. What do you say?
I mean, the dude got charged, right? And I'm not cheering for that. I know it's his second chance. Mm-hmm. There's part of me that it's his fault that he fucked it up.
Yep.
But there's still part of me that's like, man, you really fucked this up.
Yeah.
Like, you talk about being born on third. You talk about being born 6 inches from home. You're Danny Briere's kid, for God's sake. You got into ASU, for God's sake. You got kicked out of there. This is your second chance. You're at Mercyhurst, and you get kicked out. Like, what are you going to do now? What are you going to do? Like, odds are he wasn't going to play pro. Or, I mean, maybe he could have gone to Europe or something. But, like, you were at school, you get a degree there, and then that's the rest of your life. And let's face it, you probably could have had a career in hockey. What are you going to do now? You're not going to have that degree to fall back on unless you pay for it, which you can, because, again, you're Danny Briere's kid.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about being born fucking 6 inches from home plate. I hope... Listen, forget him. He's out. He did a stupid thing. He's being punished for it. Forget him. I hope the girl got her wheelchair. I hope her inconveniences were minimal.
Sounds like that was the case because she tweeted it.
Yes. So good.
$2,000 wheelchair, by the way.
Don't fucking throw wheelchairs down the stairs, man. Like, I don't know what to tell you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just thought it was sort of worth mentioning.
Of course.
Okay, so I have a question about the Vancouver Canucks, who we have not talked about lately. Things have calmed down quite a bit there since Rick Tocchet took over. Yeah, they've been good. He did.
Good is a bar that moves.
I mean, we did call this.
They've been not trash, but they were this. By the way, sorry guys, we had this conversation when Bruce Boudreau took over for Travis Green last year.
Yes.
This time we could have had the same thing last year. Same conversation.
And this isn't a bunch of Leaf fans saying that. You know who said that on Vancouver radio? Yannick Hansen. That dude was on the Canucks a hot minute ago, and that's what he's saying. So,
what did he say specifically?
oh, like we've seen this before. Like someone, I can't remember who it was, but they're like, hey, they're looking a little bit better. He's like, yeah.
Wow.
Like, I mean, the real test is next season, right?
No question. And here's Rick Tocchet again questioning their compete level because they fell flat last night against the Kraken. And I just think like, so I guess it's also come out, and the reason I'm bringing this up is that it sounds as though Ron Hextall was pretty close to having a deal in place for JT Miller. And the deal looked like this: 2 first-rounders plus, and they had to find someone to take Jason Zucker and couldn't before the deadline ended because Jason Zucker's pay is what it is, and to make the cap work, Jason Zucker is the odd man out.
That is absolute insanity from the Penguins. Like, you should be paying to get out from under JT Miller's contract. And they were going to get 2 firsts from the Penguins, who at the trade deadline were not guaranteed a playoff spot at all. Like, it's equivalent to the Bo Horvat deal in a way.
They have to make that deal, though, if you're the Penguins. You have to do something. Maybe not that deal, but you have to do something.
But I don't know if that's the something. And by the way, I don't know if you noticed this or not, but the Islanders are in a playoff spot right now, so the Bo Horvat deal's done okay. But if at season's end they don't make it, people are going to question it. I want to send a basket of flowers to the entire Canucks front office that they weren't able to get that across the finish line, because that would have been an all-time fleecing.
Well, I would think that that deal still probably materializes in the draft. Sounds like if Pittsburgh wants him that bad, it sounds like they don't care that it's 2 first-rounders, because Pittsburgh, that's their MO, by the way. When was the last time Pittsburgh drafted in the first round? It's been like twice in a decade. They're doing this because they're trying to win now.
You know what?
Right?
Let me look.
You really want to look?
Yeah, well, yeah, because now I'm like, all right, who was the last?
And especially
Penguins
with Burke and
first-rounder
Hextall
of
at the
note?
helm, they don't care. They got Crosby, Malkin, and Letang for a few more years. You got to make it happen. You got to try one more time.
Yeah,
Do you want me to tell you?
Tell me.
Sure.
Last year they drafted Owen Pickering
Okay.
in the first round.
I would have gone with Owen Ajax, but go ahead.
And the next one?
Then Samuel Poulin in 2019.
And then before that?
They got Kasperi Kapanen in 2014.
This is what I'm talking about.
Kasperi Kapanen is their 3rd most recent first-round pick.
That's what I'm saying. Is this team does not care about first-round picks. They want players that are going to play now to play with Crosby to win. Crosby and Malkin.
Their hit rate is miserable. So, okay, there's the golden age. 2003, Fleury. 2004, Malkin. 2005, Crosby. 2006, Jordan Stahl. I wonder why they won a cup. Since then, their first-rounders are Angelo Esposito, Simone Dupre. That one was bad luck. Bo Bennett, Joe Morrow, Derek Pouliot, and Oli Mata. Kasperi Kapanen, Samuel Poulin, and obviously Owen Pickering. Now, those last 2, it's a little early to call one a bust or whatever. But I think the best first-rounder I mentioned in that group was Oli Mata. That's not good enough, man. Holy shit. And yeah, Hextall doesn't have to answer for most of that, but wow.
What do you mean that's not good enough? That was winning they've done in that.
They've done a lot of winning.
No, but like
talking about
that, you got to draft players for God's
Hey,
sake.
you know what sucks? No, you know where you win, Jesse. Where you really win is the draft.
Hey,
No, they
Pens
have done
fans.
some winning. They have done some
Hey,
winning.
Pens fans, imagine being one of the best teams the last 20 years in the National Hockey League, and then a guy from Toronto comes on here and says, you know what? Not good enough.
No, Jesse, it's not about that. It's no. Listen, you
That's
got
what it sounded like.
No, you got to hit on your picks when you have them. Yeah, no, obviously, if you're going to contend, if it's 2016 and it's 2017, throw all your first rounders in the garbage. Get rid of them and try to win a cup, which they did. But then the first rounders they have used stunk. How can you deny?
No, you can't.
I think
You can't.
I think the Penguins organization as a whole has been perfectly fine.
Yeah?
The Stanley Cup rings.
They did win a couple rings.
Say something.
Okay, don't watch in 2023 because you won in 2017. I think once you win a championship, you should stop trying forever. I think that's the best way to run your life.
Hold on, we're getting away from the point. The point was they're trading the first round pick so they can take one more round. So they don't care about these first round picks. Clearly, the organization for a decade or more hasn't cared about first round picks. And you know what? They don't need to. You don't need to when you have Crosby and Malkin. They've won 3 cups already. You got to try and see if you can get that fourth one, right? As weird and odd as it seems, like, you don't underestimate Crosby and Malkin in the playoffs, especially. I, for one, understand them taking that risk. But my question is 2 first rounders, which would be mid first rounders, 15 to 25, maybe somewhere in there.
You used to look at that and go, that'll be around 30. You don't look at that and say that.
The Penguins are, a wild card team, so wherever it's going to be, 15, 16, whatever. 2 first rounders in consecutive years to the Canucks for that. Is JT Miller worth that with the contract that he has signed and the defense that he plays? Although apparently it's been better.
Sure, it's been better, after being called out for years on end. Like,
right.
I don't know. Again, these games, if you come in, if you're on the West Coast, you have a back-to-back. It's Seattle, Vancouver. Who's getting the starting goaltender? Who's getting the backup?
Yeah.
Playoff team's getting the starter. You go in, you got Edmonton, Vancouver. Who's getting the starter? Who's getting the backup? Like, yeah. Dude, don't get fooled by this like I did every year when the Leafs had a hot March and missed the playoffs. They got the backup treatment a lot of nights. They got the I don't give a shit treatment a lot of nights.
That is a really good point.
Yeah. You know how fun King Street is? You come to town and you get to play the 25th ranked team. Fuck those guys. I'm going to the underground till 3 a.m. and I'll beat them anyway. Yeah. And they did on a lot of nights.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is our last chance to tie one on before the playoffs, boys.
Let's enjoy it. Yeah. What do you got there, Jesse?
No, I just got a problem with people trying to take away the Penguins' playoff streak. I've seen a lot of that because they clinch a playoffs. Oh, they're probably going to get in the playoffs this year. They'll extend their streak to...
Probably.
I think the Penguins are probably going to get in.
Yeah.
Where did you get that?
You don't think they're going to make it?
Aren't they not in a spot right now? I'm pretty sure they're not.
Yeah, Florida might have leapfrogged them, but I think they're going to make it.
I have it right here.
It's real tight.
So it's Florida, the Islanders, and Penguins all at 78 games. Florida's got 87, Islanders 87, Penguins 86. So yeah, here's the thing.
Tight as hell.
Of the 3 teams that I mentioned, only 2 have a positive goal differential, and that would be the Panthers and Islanders. You can't be Pittsburgh and miss the playoffs in this era. You can't. You cannot miss the playoffs.
After handing out all the money that you did?
Well, you brought the core back for one more go. Mm-hmm. You and rightfully so. Who's giving up on that? But you can't miss the playoffs.
I think they could be fine. Next year, I mean.
Sure.
It's Jeff Carter. You got to be done with that. And I don't know. Maybe getting rid of Zucker is part of the answer.
I feel bad for Zucker. Do you remember how he left Minnesota? They tried to trade him for years, and after signing him to that extension, it was bad. I don't remember the full particulars. But
I do remember it being weird.
Yeah,
there were social media posts, and it was weird.
So can I make the point I was trying to make?
Oh, sorry. Yes.
No.
So I guess I can't say they're probably going to make the playoffs because they're not in a playoff spot right now. They're of the 3 teams, I'm rooting for them because they have their playoff streak going. That's 16 years.
Sure.
It's the longest one currently in out of the 4 major sports. It's the longest one going currently. It's very impressive. I think it's only the 7th longest all time in NHL history, though, which is weird because the NHL franchises have these crazy dynasties.
Detroit,
but there's been a lot of people online trying to take it away from them because in 2020, when the world ended, they didn't.
Oh,
yeah.
Go ahead, finish. Go ahead, finish. Go ahead.
No. Explain how the Penguins drafted poorly, which led to them not winning at all.
You know what?
Tell the Penguins organization they've done nothing over the last 20 years since drafting Crosby.
By the way, if you're new here, let me just explain. Steve Dangle Podcast. I'm Steve Dangle. That's Adam Wilde. This is Jesse Blake. And let me introduce our 4th member, Hypocrite.
No. What's going on here?
Because you said in 2020, the Leafs didn't make the playoffs. You said this. You said the Leafs didn't make the playoffs in 2020 because they lost in the qualifying round, just like the Pittsburgh Penguins did.
So the Pittsburgh Penguins in 2020 were 5th in the conference.
Oh.
Ooh.
Do you know who I am? I'm those goalpost seers.
The
Jesse.
Pittsburgh Penguins were a
all over
playoff
the place.
team.
Oh yeah.
The Leafs.
They were a qualifying round team. They got eliminated.
I wouldn't take away the Penguins' playoff qualification in 2020. The Leafs, on the other hand, as Steve Dangle is choosing to not remember, were 8th,
Which is a playoff spot.
where they were 8th with how many? They had 12 games left. There's no way to look at that and say, yes, the Leafs were a playoff team. Like the way you corrected me when I said the Penguins are probably going to be a playoff team. I shouldn't have said that. I don't know. I'm rooting for them, but who knows? In 2020, we had no idea if the Leafs were going to make the playoffs. They sat at 8th place, 81 points. They actually tied with Columbus, who had the exact same amount of points. Pittsburgh, on the other hand, were sitting comfortably in 5th place.
If the Leafs and Blue Jackets were tied, how come one was 8th and one was 9th?
Wins.
Mr. Critz?
Regulation wins is the tiebreaker
God.
they used.
Listen to this.
I simply think it's funny how.
That you said the Penguins did nothing in the last 20 years.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
And I'm now trying to give them credit for their playoff streak, and you're trying to take them to... What? Why are you upset at Pens fans?
No,
Did they do something to you?
God, no. Hey,
What?
you don't put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby.
2 times now, I've just tried to give the Pens credit, one, for being a great franchise and not needing to draft well at all, because who cares, they've won.
You took
and
credit.
2, I'm trying to just give them props for their playoff streak, and I want it to continue, and now you're shitting on that as well.
No,
What's the problem with Pittsburgh?
I think they have a playoff streak.
Okay.
You don't. You, in 2020, insulted the 2023 Penguins and didn't know it. Because you said the Leafs didn't make the playoffs.
So me sitting here right now saying, hey, the Pens are awesome and they have this playoff streak, that doesn't count.
Right.
Okay.
Based on what you said.
All right.
Roll the tape,
All right.
Discord.
So Steve,
find the clip.
So, Steve, the next time you got a take that goes viral on TikTok of you saying that William Nylander is horrific or whatever that last one was, that should count. Because what you say in the past is law forever.
I've never complained about anything ever.
Awesome. We have set the parameters here, everybody. It is laid out. We know how to move forward. Thank you, Adam. What's next?
I don't complain, nor have I ever.
Yeah, I know.
Simply not. Why don't we get into the press
Not
conference?
this guy.
We haven't done a lot of press conferencing lately, so let's hit it.
Let's do it.
Sure.
Guys, I want to tell you about a product that we have never spoken about.
What's that?
Never once have we talked about Manscaped.
Oh.
You've never heard it on this show, but we're thrilled to welcome
First time
you.
for everything.
Yeah. Now, what does Manscaped do? You ask.
I think it's to make your hair grow really cartoonishly long.
No.
Oh, it's something else?
It's to
What
get
is it?
cartoonishly short without the nicks and clips that you get from other clippers, right?
Oh.
I mean, in fact, since Manscaped came on the scene, does any other hair removal device for down there even remove? It doesn't even work. You don't even know. It don't exist.
It's not even down there anymore. I said this last time we talked about Manscaped, but the beard trimmer. I don't understand how they made it work where there's just a dial to change the different lengths and there's not heads you got to change and put in and out. I shouldn't be doing that motion with Manscaped. there's not
Talking about head, that's cool.
There's not different things you got to change. There's a little dial.
Well, okay, so here's the deal. He wants to talk about the dial. I want to talk about the deal. 20% off and free shipping with the code DANGLE, 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 at manscaped.com. That's 20% off and free shipping with the code DANGLE at manscaped.com. Hey, listen, it's Easter, so hop on over
And use your head.
The Presser. SDP. The Steve Dangle Press Conference.
First things first, we failed to touch on this a couple times, but we wanted to talk about sdpn.ca.
Oh! Right.
Adam, once again, did not put it into the show.
To be fair, on Monday, you didn't ask me.
I didn't. Yes.
You didn't.
So then I followed up after, and I was
And you
like,
asked
Adam,
me.
you forgot to do this.
So we asked the fucking guy, and I forgot.
asked the fucking guy.
My bad. Okay, so let's talk about sdpn.ca, Jesse.
Yeah.
Let's go through it.
Yeah, let me pull it up. So we've made some changes to sdpn.ca. We have news.
Hey!
So we have news available. It's just a little update to the site. It's been like 3 months. A little bit more than that. 3.5-ish months, like mid-December, I started making some changes and getting this all up and running. So you'll see on sdpn.ca that we now have timely news of like the big stories that we think are big. We're going to highlight. You'll be able to keep up to date on the sporting world there. We have new show pages as well, and you can watch all of our content from each landing page for each show. Robert and Jamie work tirelessly on bios for the hosts.
Oh no!
So
should we read our bios?
That'll be fun. I can pull up some bios.
Oh
if you wanna
god,
read them.
they're reading our bios. Like did our bios?
Oh,
Yeah,
dear.
they wrote some very nice bios about us.
Oh god.
Is this the game we want to play?
Yeah, I would
All
love
right,
to know.
Give me a second. Give me a
why.
second.
I
Give me a second.
I always, by the way, you in radio, you always have to write your own bio, and then like they put it on the website, and it's like you get two types of bios. You get guy who's trying to be super zany, and then you get guy who's like, I'm an award-winning broadcaster because I won a local award. So and so is an award-winning broadcaster.
I live life to the fullest.
That's right. I don't know, man. It's writing bios is the worst. I hate
I'm
it.
sending you this form.
Okay. All right.
You pick and choose which ones you want to highlight and what you want to read through.
I think we
Holy
start with
moly.
this. Let's start with Jesse Blake.
Oh no.
Jesse Blake is a host of the Steve Dangle Podcast, host of the Jesse Blake Sports Report, and co-CEO, by the way, of SDPN. He previously worked at 99.9 Virgin Radio in Toronto and Tim and Sid on Sportsnet. What about the Adam Wild Show on Kiss 92.5?
I did work there as well.
And Blake and Wild before that. Thank you very much. Steve Dangle Glynn is the host of the Steve Dangle Podcast and a co-CEO of SDPN. Has been making Leaf fan reactions for every Toronto Maple Leafs game since 2007. Wow, that's a long time. And is a host on Sportsnet. Adam Wild is the host of SDP and Agent Provocateur, co-CEO of SDP, also host on Virgin Mornings Toronto. No, okay, it's very generic. I thought they would be like, and is a silly goose.
Steve's
Smelly bum.
passionate that Squirtle is the best starting Pokemon.
Is that what you want people to say?
That's what I'm willing to die for.
Is it? You think Squirtle is the best starter? I always pick Squirtle.
Yeah, because he can surf.
Okay. The thing I want to highlight about the website design that Jesse put together.
Were you asking for more flavor in the bios?
We could.
Yeah. Should they be like bachelor bios?
Yes, but good. The bachelor bios we read last time sucked.
No, there were some good ones.
There were some.
Some. I was
the
bored.
hit
I was
rate
like, what?
was a little low.
Yeah.
I'll agree
Yeah.
with that. Yeah.
It's supposed to be fun, right?
There were
And
a
then
lot
just-
where it's like I know less about you than I did before I read this.
So here's what I like about the way our website is set up is that when I go on and the news populates, I actually get the news, right? So many sports websites you just don't like it's like, where are the stories? Can you give me the stories, please? The stories are here. And so I kind of like that. It's like, boom, right in your face, right in your facha, as Steve would say. Right, Steve?
It's fotch.
Fach.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. What else? What else do you want to highlight?
I just want to say we are getting some writing up in there. Who's been doing his blog now on the old website and has been doing it since when he launched it, late November. His blog, 5 You Know, 5 You Don't. So if you're not following that, if you're a basketball fan, that's something you need to follow. Also, in a roundabout way, I got Justin Fisher to start a blog.
No,
because on the homepage of the site, there's a Justin's Picks area where he highlights stories he wants to highlight.
Yeah, the blog has started for Justin.
So we're easing our way there.
We pulled him out of retirement.
You give him a little sprinkle, and then you get him to come in and eat the whole cheese.
The impossible happened. And you know what that means. Leafs are winning the cup. Let's go! Let's go!
He has the vision.
So you can see all the articles that Justin Fisher thinks are important articles that day and just scroll over to Justin's Picks.
Wow, he actually did it.
Formula One and Formula One, followed by Formula
And
One.
Coheed and Cambria.
And Coheed and Cambria, AEW, and Formula One.
All right, let's get into
some questions.
Pull some
Yes.
Discord questions.
Let's do that. Let me just pull up my Discord.
Oh.
What?
No, I was just like, wait. It's almost 2 o'clock. No, it's not.
This is from Ben W. Blue Jackets rookie Kirill Marchenko has 21 goals this season. How many assists does he have?
I believe the answer is 2.
Yeah, because he started it with 12 goals and 0 assists, right?
Yeah, he got his first career assist against the Leafs, because of course he did.
What's your answer?
2.
I'll say 3 because it can't be high.
You guys are both wrong. It's 4.
Oh,
Dummies. All right.
That's just a wild stat.
Brandon Peary thinks he's an amazing playmaker. Brandon Peary famously had 22 goals and 2 assists.
Oh, wow.
I want to say the Panthers.
That's cool. I like that.
All right. It's like a pitcher's record.
Yeah, no, it's Cy Young.
That's a Roger Clemens, Kurt Schilling era.
In the late 90s, that's their win-loss. This is from Fountain. If you as a goalie scored an empty net goal, would you intentionally allow a goal in the last 5 to 10 seconds just so you can have the game-winning goal as a goalie?
Has any goalie ever had a game-winning goal?
I don't know.
Ooh. No, because I'd get in trouble. You're not allowed to do that. So I feel like no. By the way, NBA players who intentionally miss and get a rebound should absolutely not get a triple-double or double-double or whatever they're going for.
It happened to Giannis this season, and they took away his triple-double.
They should.
Yeah, so
bullshit.
he went up to the backboard and threw one up and caught it himself, and they took it away retroactively the next day.
How do you do that? How do you just take it away?
They just
dock him a point?
take it off the scoreboard.
He obviously scored?
No, he didn't score. He got the rebound. He needed the rebound for the triple-double, so he threw it up and he caught himself.
Whatever, he's playing the fucking game within the rules. Why?
No, they said in the rules, they say a rebound has to count. A shot attempt has to be when you're intentionally trying to make a shot. So for the fact that he just put it up there and got it back, no shot was being attempted, therefore no rebound should be assessed.
God forbid there's any creativity
Right?
with anything ever.
No, there's creativity and there's bullshit. I think that's bullshit.
Okay.
So,
I'm Giannis. I'm Team Giannis
Steve,
on this.
I think I can answer your question. So I pulled up all the goalie goals of all time.
Oh!
It is not a long list, and in all of these games, none of them are 1-goal games. So I would assume that the goalie goal was scored at like the last goal, if it's an empty net, and in none of these games was that the defining goal.
Oh, that's very interesting.
And I'm not counting the ones that are own goals, because that's funky business. I'm counting the ones where a shot on goal. So we got Ron Hextall, Chris Augustgood, Martin Brodeur, Theodore, Nabokov, Mike Smith, Pecorine, Linus Allmark. All those games were multiple goal leads.
The own goal ones are fun because it's like they passed it into an empty net with a pending power play.
Mm-hmm.
Man, those are some really good players who scored the own goals. Jordan Stahl, Kovalchuk, Jeff Sanderson, Robert Reichel, Damon Langkow, and Lyle Odeline. Those are like captains, Olympians, cup winners.
Rob Ramage.
50 goal scorers.
Former Leaf captain Rob Ramage.
He's a former captain. Yep. Wow. That's a really good list.
Yeah.
Fine.
I thought it was interesting, too, that Martin Brodeur has been on the other end of a goalie goal. Like, he was the goaltender that was pulled in this instance.
Because it shows that.
Yeah, there's a lot of info on this little Wikipedia chart. So you can see who the goalie was pulled that allowed the goalie goal.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Man, I got to say, a lot of the NHL Wikipedia stuff is exemplary. They do a really good job.
Whoever the person who's doing that for free is.
Yeah, whoever that is, you do an incredible job.
The hockey fan who dedicates their time to this, because it's not the NHL.
No.
Yeah, wouldn't it be cool if you could find that on the NHL website?
No. No, said the NHL.
All right. Next question. This is from the Cake Boss. Scott Wedgwood has just clinched a playoff spot for both an NHL team and an AHL team in the span of 4 days.
Wow.
Is there anyone else you can think of that has had that sort of factor in 2 important games in both the AHL and NHL?
The only one I can think of is, I want to say PK Subban when he debuted. Or in his rookie year or something like that. I want to say he lost Game 7 with the Habs, got sent down, and I think he lost Game 7 with their farm team as well. I'm not totally sure. Clinched both. It rings a bell.
Oh, yeah?
It rings a bell, but I can't remember. Ottinger? I don't know. I'm not sure.
Can you go back to the AHL and win the Calder trophy?
Calder Cup.
It was called the Memorial Trophy, Memorial Cup, Calder Cup after playing in the NHL playoffs.
Absolutely.
If the timing works out, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how the timing does work out.
Well, like the Leafs sent Janssen and Kapanen back to the
Dermott.
Marlies when they were
Janssen and Dermott.
Oh, Dermott. Okay.
Kapanen wasn't eligible.
After they lost to I think Washington or Boston.
That was the first round. So now I'm gonna look up Marlies win Calder Cup, and we're gonna see what day that was.
Maybe it moves faster in the A.
Marlies win Calder Cup. Because wouldn't that be sick? Marlies win first Calder Cup title. Janssen and Marchment each score 2 goals. Yeah, June 14th, 2018.
That'd be same week as Stanley Cup final.
Capitals win Stanley Cup. Stably quo is how I always type it the first time, because I cannot friggin' type with my fat hands.
I can't
June
either.
7th.
So you could win the Stanley Cup, get sent down, and then win the Calder Cup.
It is possible.
If
Both teams have to be in the final.
Yeah.
You could do it.
It's possible. It's just very unlikely.
You'd have
Do
that. What a great
waivers-
year for that organization.
Do waivers count? Could you send down Austin Matthews to the Marlies?
No, so they would have to. No, you would have to already be
Can you imagine?
eligible.
All right, boys. Season might be over, but we're going for the Calder.
There's a
I think
date.
it'd be hilarious.
Nobody cares about the Calder Cup.
There's a date you have to play by or be on a roster by in order to be eligible for the AHL playoffs.
Okay, so it would have to be an instance where a guy played a lot of the season in the AHL, gets called up to the NHL, gets eligible for the playoffs for the NHL, plays, team wins Stanley Cup, gets sent back to the AHL for the last 7 games of the finals.
Basically guaranteed, yeah.
What was that? What was that Sid said to you? Calder Cup was irrelevant.
The Calder Cup means nothing.
What are the AHL qualifications for the playoffs? Is it just 1 game?
Oh, man.
So let's, okay.
Yeah,
Here we go.
okay, we're
I got
figuring this
something
out.
for you.
All right,
Okay.
go.
I got something for you.
Okay.
Austin Matthews injures his wrist.
This year.
Injures his wrist. Happens all the time.
Yes.
Goes, plays for the Marley on a conditioning stint.
I don't think those exist in the playoffs.
No. He plays for the Marlies during the regular season on a conditioning stint. Let's say he plays 3 games.
Yes.
Leafs win the Stanley Cup. He's eligible to play for the Marlies in the Calder Cup final
And he does
because
it just to be
of
a
his
dick.
3-game stint in the conditioning was all the requirements it was for him to qualify for the Calder Cup playoffs.
And that's when he wins the real ring.
And then he
Stanley
plays.
Cup ring? Nah.
Yeah.
Okay, he needs the Calder Cup
Yeah,
ring.
and he's not just drunk because they
Kiss the
won
ring.
Stanley Cup.
Kiss
Yeah.
the ring. I don't know.
I don't know what are the eligibilities.
I feel like the time, the games required to play in the Calder Cup playoffs, I feel like conditioning stint games don't count towards that total.
I don't know.
I also
call
don't
up
know.
Bill Daly.
I made that up. Here, you reminded me for some reason of there it is, Simone Gagne.
I loved him.
He was a very good player, but in 2011-12, his first season with the LA Kings, he did not have a good time. 17 points in 34 games. That's not so bad.
Sounds
it's
like
a half a point a game.
Pizza when you're trying to French fry.
Wow. So he didn't meet any of the qualifications to get his name on the cup with the Kings. He only played 34 regular season games, and he played 4 playoff games. Neither of those is enough.
34 with the Kings is not enough? I thought it was 20.
I believe the requirements are you have to play at least half of the regular season games and or half of the playoff games. But there is a Super Mario star in that equation. If you play a single game in the Stanley Cup final, you get your name on the cup.
And?
He played a game in the Stanley Cup final.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So he got his name on the cup.
Wow. Oh, I'm glad they have that rule. Because there could be somebody who came out of nowhere.
Well, I mean, you're in the Stanley Cup final.
Yeah.
Like
You're there.
telling me you score the game-winning goal. Imagine Ross Colton when he scored the cup-winning goal, doesn't get on the cup.
Well, that would be
example.
very NHL. And they would be very self-satisfied in taking that away from somebody. They
No.
love objective cruelty sometimes.
Gary, why didn't you do that? You didn't meet the requirements. And that's all he would say.
So
With his eyebrows way up here.
Steve, these are the official requirements for your name on the cup. So when a team wins the Stanley Cup, who gets their name engraved? Each championship team is allowed to put 52 names on the cup, including players, coaches, management, and staff. The criteria is based on regular season games played, which is 50. I don't know. They don't have the actual numbers. No, here we go. The criteria. Thank you. For a player to get their name automatically on the Stanley Cup, played half the regular season games, which would be 41, or one game in the Stanley Cup Finals. It doesn't specify for playoff games, though.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
There are people who have been removed from the Stanley Cup because you're allowed to put 52, and some teams have taken liberties with that and said, oh, well, we get 52 spots, so I'm going to put my son or something like that. And the NHL goes, who's this? And they, oh, that's my son. And they go, like your child? And they go, yeah. And they're like, we're removing your child from the Stanley Cup. They didn't do anything.
Can you name 3 exceptions? So 3 names on the Stanley Cup who did not meet their required minimum games that we just outlined, but were players for these teams, and they got their names on the cup. We got 97, we got 2015, and we got 2016.
97, Vladimir Konstantinov.
Yes.
1. You're 1 of 1.
2000 what?
2015.
So that was the Blackhawks. Was there an injured player?
What's his name? Oh my God, he was good, but he wasn't good on this run. It's like an older defenseman, right?
Kimmo Timonen.
Incorrect.
He was terrible on that run. He did play though, 4 minutes a night.
I'm trying to think of who might have been injured. Oh, Bickle?
Hossa.
Incorrect. Fuck. No, Hossa played.
I thought I guess after they won the cups, he retired. He like halfway retired, right? And then he's all TIR'd.
Shaw?
There's actually 2 names from this Blackhawks team.
Wasn't Shaw?
No, incorrect. You want them?
Yeah.
All right. So I'll give you the full little paragraph that they wrote up on this. In 2015, the Hawks did not petition for Antti Raanta to have his name on the cup. So his name's not even on the cup, who played 14 games during the regular season and became the 3rd string goalie during the cup run. However, they did petition and were successful for seldom used Joachim Nordstrom, who played 38 games in 3 playoff games.
He was a Leaf, wasn't he? Joachim Nordstrom?
He might have been.
I think he was.
So anyway. Joachim Nordstrom got his name on the cup with only 38 games played in 3 playoff games, none in the Stanley Cup final, as well as Dan Carcillo, who played 39 games in the regular season and no playoff games.
Oh, he missed the cutoff by 2 games.
Yeah. So 39 is like, let's
and
petition.
And they didn't petition. Oh, they did.
So
petition.
they got those 2 names
Antti Raanta should have been on there.
That's like,
Raanta,
come on.
If
Nordstrom
I'm
was
not
never
mistaken,
Leaf, by the way.
There's a story there. I feel like he didn't want it.
Oh.
Yeah, well, I mean, he didn't do anything.
It's
a tough one, right?
Whatever,
Like,
just get your name on there.
I don't know. Okay, and then last one, 2016.
Who the fuck? Oh, the Penguins.
Who didn't count.
Hilarious that I forgot about that. The Penguins that year, and they petitioned to get this player, Zach Aston-Reese.
No.
I don't know.
It is Pascal Dupuis, who was forced to retire due to health issues after only playing in 18 games that season. The Penguins successfully petitioned for the long-term Penguin to have his name added to the cup.
That's nice.
It has been reported that despite Dupuis not playing on the ice that much that year, he was still an active member of the team, adding leadership behind the scenes.
I always talk about how in elementary school I was like half a Red Wings fan because of Chris Draper and all that. Because of that, my whole school was ravenous for the Red Wings to repeat in 97. That's one of those things where you had to be there. Like winning it for Vladdy was one of the coolest fucking things.
Yeah, man. And they rolled the Caps. I think in 4 games. Like they were once they got in the finals, it was over.
I was 9 years old, but I can still remember clear as day. There was a sign in the stands in Washington that said, "We remember the 42 Leafs," because the 42 Leafs are still the only team to ever be down 3-0 in the Cup final and come back to win.
Yeah, so take that, losers.
Yeah.
Forget 1967. Let's talk about 1942 when things were great.
Yeah.
Everybody liked 1942. Take me back.
Let me Google it real quick.
Take me back. We should do an Instagram post that's Take Me Back, 1942.
42. Take me home.
By the way,
To the year I'm in love.
I saw
42.
I saw a TikTok the other day. Somebody who doesn't know their decades and know their history was like, the decade that I wish I grew up in and like, or came of age in, and then she's like the 40s, and then she snaps to like whatever she thought you would dress like in the 40s,
polka dot dress,
and then somebody duets it, and you just see them like, and that's it.
but
just
but
wide open
school.
mouth.
Yeah.
Don't you remember school? Did anyone teach you anything in school?
No, you know what?
Man.
You're right. If you're American, World War II started in 1942. So, and that's
That
how a lot
was
of them
in
are
the
taught.
40s.
Yeah, I know.
That happened.
You should know that.
1942 happened in the 40s. There's no reason not to know that. If you live almost anywhere in the world.
Yeah. Yep. Anyway.
Does
Oh my
Peter
God.
Pocklington ring a bell?
Yes.
That name?
Yes.
Of course.
He is the most famous person to have a name scratched off the Stanley Cup.
yes.
Was it him who put his kid?
No, his dad.
Oh, his dad.
So he put his dad's name on there, and his dad had nothing to do with winning the Stanley Cup.
Peter
can't
Pocklington
just
is
do that.
one of the greatest villains in NHL history, and current fans know almost nothing about the guy. You can't. We could do an entire show and not cover it all. He was a terrible person. All around.
When I did the Wayne Gretzky trade tree, the trade out of Edmonton, I had to cut. I was like, okay, this video could be 2 hours if I do all the Pocklington stuff, or do I just say, he kind of ran out of money, so they traded him. So that's basically what I did.
He owned the Oilers through that whole dynasty, right?
Yeah, the most famous rumor with him is he had a deal in place with the Leafs to swap rosters. What? And this is real. He had a deal in place to swap, like the Leafs would have gotten, I don't have the full roster, but it would have been like Gretzky, Robitaille, Messier, Coffey, fucking all of them.
Because he didn't want to pay for the Oilers roster?
It's something like that.
Yeah. Wow.
And
All right.
if I'm not mistaken, Harold Ballard was like, "Oh, that costs money."
Do you want to know how, guys? Do you want to know how it
happened?
happened? How he got his dad on the list?
Oh, the Stanley Cup thing? Yeah.
So after the Oilers won their first Stanley Cup, thank you, Wikipedia, in 83-84, Peter Pocklington included his father, Basil Pocklington, on the list of people and players that were to have their names engraved on the trophy.
I don't think it was pronounced Basil.
Basil.
That's what it is.
Basil.
It's Basil.
Isn't it Basil?
It can be either.
I've never heard of anyone called like
Nah,
the
he's
herb.
Basil now.
Basil?
Yeah.
I'm going with that.
Jeff Bezos. Okay, the NHL did not check the validity of the names on the list. So this is how crazy the NHL was in the 80s. Like, the one thing about Bettman is he did bring order. It's autocratic, but the NHL was absolutely bonkers before he got there. The NHL did not check the validity of the names on the list. Can you fucking imagine that? And the cup was engraved as usual. NHL executives via the Hockey Hall of Fame had the engraver strike out the name of the senior Pocklington by engraving a series of X's over his name. When Peter Pocklington was confronted with the issue, he protested that it was the engraver's fault, not his, that the engraver had mixed up the people who were actually technically members of the team. Basil was not one of them. With the list of individuals who were supposed to receive a miniature cup replica, Basil was one of those. So what he said, you're supposed to get a miniature cup replica when you win, and his dad was going to get one. And he said, oh, no, I didn't say put him on the cup. I said just give him a replica.
No, I think you tried to get him on the cup, Peter.
Yeah. So of the 24 engraving errors that appear on the Stanley Cup, all but one are spelling errors. Basil Pocklington was the only name that was covered until recently when Brad Aldridge's name was crossed out.
Imagine it's your life's ambition to win the Stanley Cup. And you hoist it, and you get your day with it, and you go and you look at your name, and it's spelled wrong.
That would suck.
That happened.
Yeah.
To Adam Deadmarsh.
Deadmarsh.
Deadmarch, right?
Yeah. They called him Dead March.
Yeah.
So they had to fix it. I don't know how they fixed it. I don't know how you fix an engraving. You can't put an X through that one. Yeah, that's the Stanley Cup. It's fucked.
There's so much history with it.
There's so much history. You've seen the photo of when Michael Ryder won with the Bruins, where he dropped it and just like bent the thing in half.
Yeah.
There's
a giant dent in it. Even like the little part of the history is in that like the rings aren't all on there because they have to take them off every now and again.
Well, the Leafs are about to come off. I think they're five seasons removed.
Years,
the Leafs will not be on the Stanley Cup within a few years.
Unless.
Oh,
Well, yeah. Who knows?
By the way, I should mention that last night, I believe Austin Matthews moved into 6th in all-time goals for the Toronto Maple Leafs with 297, passing like Frank Mahovlich and George Armstrong, I believe.
Yeah.
Which is Austin Matthews is he 25?
Yeah. Well, this is what
and
I
the Leafs
said.
have such abysmal records too.
This is what I said. Like, if he remains relatively healthy, it's not like he was healthy and got to play full seasons en route to 297. The odds he doubles that and then obviously adds 6 so that he gets to 300. 600 goals is automatic induction into the Hockey Hall of Fame.
And he could easily get that, but you think about what he's dealt with, COVID and of course being injured too. He had some back injuries and stuff along the way. Like people were, I had somebody working on something at my house the other day, and they were like, they knew that, they knew about the pod and everything, and it was super cool. But talking to him, it was interesting to hear his comment. He's like, Matthews, really tough season. I'm like, he's almost at that point, he's almost at 40 goals, but
he's too shy.
The expectations are so high, and he set the bar so high with the 60 last year that you're almost like, man, what a letdown. It's crazy.
It's weird. The way we're treating individual seasons this year is very strange. There's a player with 56 goals.
David Pastrnak.
David Pastrnak.
Yeah.
Who cares?
That dude's going to score
what do you mean,
60 goals. He's going to score 60 goals.
It's just because of what Connor McDavid's doing. You know what I mean? Like, I get it's a big deal, but I'm saying like Connor McDavid is just so in a league of his own. 62 already. 3 more, and I hit that bet. 3 more. 65 to 70. Come on.
He's slowing down.
4 goals to get 4 games to get 3 goals. He's played 78. Come on, Connor.
He's slowing down slower than I thought he would, or later than I thought he would, but he is slowing down. I'm just saying.
I want to do the hey, did you guys notice that this guy did this year segment?
Okay.
No, if it's about David Pastrnak, who cares?
Have you seen this? Have you read about this?
Not today, but when I think the day the season ends, or
what
like
is it?
Before game 1, I want to do that segment, just listing, hey, you guys didn't even notice that this guy had this.
I think
year.
that's a great segment.
So
we should absolutely.
They don't even know.
We'll do that next week or next Friday, I think, because then the playoffs will begin the following Monday. I think there will be a lot of things. There are a lot of stats that I'm gonna pull out. You guys will be like, what? That guy scored 25.
I'm ready. I'm excited for that. Okay, so we'll wrap it there. We are gonna go. We're gonna go again tomorrow. We got another show tomorrow, and then we're gonna take Easter. And then we're going to come back Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday next week. And then after that, ladies and gentlemen, it is the playoffs.
Did you get early access to playoff tickets because of your season seats? Did you get them?
Answer the question.
You're going to hate me. I'm going on Saturday.
Of course! Your season seats!
You got to cheer for his hat.
I was going with a friend.
The Steve Dangle Podcast.
Powered by Sports Interaction. Want to bet?
Follow the guys on Twitter at Steve_Dangle, at Adam WYLDE, and at Jesse Blake. Connection complete.